for all of us peasants, inflation sucks. So I spent hours and hours poring over ancient scrolls to figure out the secret to making the cheapest cold process soap recipe possible, and the results may interest you. Welcome to Soap Universe, my name is Chris, and we have a dilemma on our hands. Everything is getting more and more expensive. Avocados, housing, the expansion of the universe, inflation's everywhere. Now, cheap cold process soap is difficult to come by for a variety of reasons. First off, material costs. Oils are expensive, fragrance is expensive, and cold process tends to use a variety of ingredients. Second, soap making is laborious. It's time consuming to make soap, and most soaps need to cure for at least a month before they're ready to sell. And lastly, the market dictates the price. The sweet spot for a bar of artisan soap seems to be around $10 to $15 Canadian, accounting for weight, so there's really no reason why a soap maker would want to lower their profit margins unless they want to appear super competitive. On top of that, there's also a market for soaps that use premium luxury ingredients, and those soaps will obviously be priced higher. Also, look at this ocean soap, it's really pretty. All of these things contribute to the price of soap, but I'll show you how to knock that cost below 35 cents Canadian per bar. Let's figure it out. To start, we have some grounds to cover. The first rule for this soap is I will not endeavor to find any shortcuts for the lye, since lye is dangerous and I'd rather not add an extra level of anxiety to the process by using cheap lye. It's already very cheap to begin with, so this is just a problem I invented in my head, I guess? Second rule, I don't want to do anything unethical in the pursuit of making this soap. Alright, grounds covered, moving on. The first step to reducing the cost of our soap is to use only one fat. In the soap making community, soaps with one fat are typically called Castile and made from olive oil, but other fats can be used. We really just need to figure out which fat is the cheapest that we can source and still produce a bar of soap. Now, technically, we can steal human tallow from the nearby liposuction clinic, Fight Club style, and make our soap that way, but that's unethical and illegal and frankly just kind of gross, so that's not going to be an option even though it's free. The next option would be to source oil from the food bank, but using something from the food bank for demonstration in a YouTube video that could easily be used by someone else in far greater need than me seems a little stingy and immoral on my part, so we're going to skip the food bank and any other charitable sources. Another option would be to source used and recycle oil at the recycling depot. It would be free, but there are a couple of problems. One,
disgusting!
I have absolutely zero idea where that oil has been or even what type of fat I'd be using, which is kind of pointless. And number two, used oil has a ton of contaminants in it, which compromises the quality of the oil and makes it more apt to rot after it transforms into soap. The last free option, and probably the most realistic one, would be to ask a companion for some canola oil. Free oil means our recipe becomes so cheap that the price would only come from the cost of the lye, which would amount to 7 cents per bar. Unfortunately, I don't have a friend to borrow from. Not because I don't have friends, but because they don't have oil. Back to square one, my only option is to source the cheapest oil or fat possible at a price. I found some options. First is Crisco vegetable shortening, which I found at Walmart for $2.97 a pound or 65 cents Canadian per 100 grams. Crisco apparently makes a surprisingly good bar of soap on its own, but there are cheaper options. Next, I found this liquid vegetable shortening at a Canadian wholesaler called Bulk Mart, and it goes for $49.99 for 16 liters, or about 39 cents Canadian per 100 grams, 40% cheaper than the Crisco I found earlier. The problem is, I don't live near a Bulk Mart because it's on the other side of the country, and shipping costs a pretty penny, which kind of defeats the purpose of, saving a penny. So, ta-ta. There's still one more contender, and that's good old regular generic Canadian canola oil from the Real Canadians Superstore. It goes for $8.99 for 3 liters, or about 37 cents per 100 grams, which is 5% cheaper than the liquid shortening, 43% cheaper than the Crisco, and precisely 15% better because it's purely Canadian. Canola oil is often the least expensive oil to source for cooking, as well as for soap making, and it should make a fine bar of soap on its own. 100% canola oil soaps have been done before, but they're more likely to go rancid over time and generally just don't have pleasant qualities after saponification. So I'm really curious to see what using this cheap canola oil will do to this soap. Before we move on, I've got something else to add. I got a deal on this canola oil, so I actually paid $7.99 Canadian for the entire 3 liters, which is a whole loony off. It's a small amount, but nonetheless knocks the final price of the fat down to 33 cents per 100 grams. Let's go to our lye. I get mine from Voyager Soap and Candle, which is a retailer based in Vancouver if you live in the area. They sell it for $5.85 Canadian per pound, but if you buy in larger quantities, then the price goes down to $2.59 per pound, or about 57 cents per 100 grams. Just in case you don't have a shop called Voyager Soap and Candle based in Vancouver near you, the next cheapest place to buy lye is from Home Depot, which sells it as drain cleaner, and it goes for around $5.98 per pound. Not too shabby. Alright, we've got our fat, we've got our lye, we need our recipe. If you're a budding soap maker, the first place you should explore is SoapCalc. I'll throw the link down in the description below. They have a recipe building API which you can use to build recipes, and they have an entire catalog of fats and oils to choose from. Couldn't recommend it more. Starting off with number 1, type of lye, we're making cold process soap here, which uses sodium hydroxide. Number 2, weight of oils. I always use a quarter batch when experimenting like this, which is around 14.5 ounces. Number 3, we're using the same water discount I normally use, which is 2:1 water to lye, and adjusting this number doesn't affect the cost of the ingredients. Number 4, superfat. Superfat is not only a great way to describe me during the winter season, but it's also an essential component of soap. Superfat is basically excess oil in the soap that hasn't reacted with any lye because the lye had already been used up. Decreasing the superfat to 0 means there's only enough oil to react with the lye and nothing left over, which seems like it'd be the cheaper option. However, the superfat on SoapCalc is calculated based on the quantity of lye, not oils, so decreasing the superfat actually increases the quantity of lye in our recipe, making it a tiny bit more expensive. I'm going to increase the superfat basically until the threshold for canola oil, which is around 8%. Having a high superfat value will make the bar softer, it'll reduce lather, and it decreases the life of the soap, but this is the cheapest soap we're making here, so we don't care about that nonsense. Next is quite possibly the biggest contributor to soap making costs, fragrance. Please add fragrance to your soap, otherwise it'll be so boring, it's really worth the cost. But cost is for rich people, so I'm going to put a 0 for the fragrance value. For scientific studies, now we just have to add our canola oil, enter a ratio of 100%, and voila! We have the cheapest soap recipe one could make, to my knowledge. Let's go ahead and make it. I've got my cheap oil and lye water nice and warm, 40 degrees Celsius or so, and the reason for this is twofold. First, there are no solid oils or butters in my recipe, and second, no fragrance oils, which means my batter is likely to trace very, very slowly. Having the oil and lye water warmer should accelerate trace, which means I don't have to wait around as long for it to emulsify and thicken. I want my batter to be as thick as I can get it so that A, it doesn't leak through my handy dandy soap divider, and B, so that I can introduce as much air as I can and hopefully get a slightly larger volume of soap. I blended it for as long as my patience could muster, which was approximately 38 seconds, or the time length of an uncomfortable handshake. Okay, it leaked. There's really nothing I can do about it, so we'll just have to wait 3 days and see. It didn't leak very much, so my batch is safe. I needed to wait 3 days for it to bonify completely, simply because the batter traced so slowly. The peppermint soap I made last month was in a similar boat and almost didn't saponify. I'll link that video on the top for you so you can catch up. This cheap soap has a ton of soda ash, which isn't a surprise because soda ash is an annoying little fiend that just infects everything it touches. Slow tracing batter tends to get a ton of soda ash, but soda ash, much like ash soda, is harmless and something not many people care about. Now, despite its lengthy slumber, the soap was still quite sticky, so much so that I actually decided to put on gloves for it first. Sorry, environment. Let's cut into it and see what it looks like on the inside. Wow, so amazing. There's not much to reveal. The bar is very much like my personality, white and featureless, and subject to rot with time. But here we have it, everyone. The cheapest bar of cold processed soap ever. This bar here is worth 33 cents Canadian in material costs. As of publishing this video, that's 24 cents US and 19 pence for some of our faraway friends. Which is insane, because that means we made this whole loaf of soap for under £1, which is totally fitting because the loaf actually weighs £1. Neat. Taking a look at it 1 month later, it's honestly looking pretty good. I didn't expect it to stand the test of time the way that it did. I was expecting there to be at least some DOS or dreaded orange spots, which you can see in the frosting of this other soap that I made last year. But yeah, looks exactly the same as it did when it was cut. I want to see how it lathers. I've got my patented soap bucket here to use as the basin I'm gonna pretend to wash my hands in. The lather is quite possibly one of the worst things to ever grace my hands. It feels exactly like snot in that stage of the flu before it turns yellow but is still transparent and slimy, so I can kind of see why Castile canola oil soaps aren't very popular. It's also quite soft, presumably because of the super high superfat, so if you let it sit in the water for too long, it develops this soft membrane of goo. 10 points for being cheap, 0 points for the goo. And you know what? The smell honestly isn't too bad. It's a very, very gentle, I don't know, Tupperware smell. Alright, lather test complete. Let's take a look at the product shots. This soap turned out way better than I could have ever imagined. Nothing's wrong with the color, nothing's wrong with the smell, and now, nothing's wrong with my bank account. I decided to name this soap I Can't Believe It's Not Lush, because seriously, can you? I made this video mostly for fun, but also to test and see if cheap cold processed soap would be the most horrible soap imaginable, and honestly, I'm quite shocked by the results. In any case, that was a soap journey with the soap universe. Thank you for watching. Bubble bye.